Shots weren't falling for you or AD specifically, and Kings obviously packing the paint. What's the balance there and trying to get there regardless if the shot's not falling, and how did you feel about the shots in OT?
No, I mean, it is balance. I think out of my 25 shots, 13 of them was threes and the rest was in the paint. Besides a couple of my post moves, but that's a high percentage shot for me. But I'm always just trying to, play a balanced game, and tonight just wasn't going for myself or AD from the perimeter, but we still had opportunities to win.
AD and Russ and Frank also mentioned this whole thing with short term, trying to find that desperation to win, and also this big picture. Where are you at right now, LeBron, after this trip and this 3 OT loss?
Me personally, I think there's room for us to continue to improve. Obviously, obviously it was a long trip for us, and that first game after a long trip is always the hardest one to kind of get your foot up underneath us, and kind of seen that in the first couple quarters. But we started to play some good basketball in the third and the fourth, and throughout the overtimes we still, like I said, gave ourselves a chance to win. We just didn't have enough go down, and they made some big shots. Buddy made some big shots. Obviously, De'Aaron all night made some big shots, and he was able to take the game from us.
When Frank and Russ and yourself, for the most part, have talked about kind of understanding that this would be a process early, you guys have all done it with a pretty calm face. I'm curious, now that you're here, 10 and 11, every game feels like just a total fight. Is that calm? Is that calm really there? Or is that you guys just putting on a kind of a happy face about kind of the issues?
No, I mean, listen, we're all disgusted at losses. I mean, that's the way it is. But you got to also at the same time keep stay even keel throughout the whole process and understand that we can get better from our losses. We get better from our wins. We obviously will not like to be one game under 500 with a fourth into the season. But we know we got more room to improve. We got a lot more room to improve, and we haven't been, full, to start the season. Obviously I haven't played many games, and guys been in and out of the lineup. We still have two of our guys that haven't played at all yet, in TA and K-Nunn. But it make no mistake, we still got to play, Laker basketball. We still got to defend at a high level. We got to share the ball offensively, not turn the ball over. Obviously tonight, horrible turnovers on my part. I feel like I played a horrible game individually, and I hold myself to a higher standard than that. So, I got to be better for this team, even especially when we're going through what we're going through right now out on the floor.
LeBron, anyone who watched the Indiana game, let alone other games in your career, knows that you be on the perimeter in clutch situations it could be a good thing for your team. Tonight, you didn't make them as much. I wondered if the looks, would you compare them differently in terms of, or was it more just a make situation for you?
I mean, it's always a miss or a make situation in our league. Obviously, people see the highlights and say, okay, he missed that. But I thought, the looks that I got wasn't pressured, wasn't sped up. Got great looks. The looks that I got tonight was actually better looks than the ones I got in Indy. I just made them. I mean, the step back that I had on Sabonis, he was literally inside my jersey. Just made it. So, I trust, the work that I've put into the game, and I'll take those same looks on Sunday, if this opportunity presents itself.
Sort of following up on what Dan was getting at, I know you guys haven't had your team very healthy for most of the year, and every quest to get a championship is difficult. But even so, on a night-to-night basis, I mean, do these games feel more difficult to win, especially when you're close, than expected?
No. I've never been in a situation throughout my career where I've always felt that games are more difficult to win than others. It is hard to win a professional ball game. I think you can ask the same for a football player, a baseball player, a hockey player, a soccer player. In professional sports, it's always difficult to win. No matter the outcome of the score, no matter how it may look from the outside looking in, it's just difficult to win because we're all pros. No matter who you're going against, we're all pros for a reason. And, it's always challenging, especially when you know you're going to get everybody's best shot every night.
Hey, LeBron, do you have any expectations for the game on Sunday with, with Isaiah Stewart and any sort of backlash going into that game?
No, I don't think it's. I don't go into a game and make it an individual thing. I saw his comments today, and he felt it was intentional or it wasn't an accident. I'll go on the record again saying it was. The actual chop down was on purpose to get his arm off of me. That part was on purpose, but the point of my hand hitting his face was not on purpose. You can literally go through, numerous of plays in the NBA where guys are chopping down on guys' arms or on hands trying to get them off of them. If you really look at the play closely, he kind of got off balance when I chopped down, and that's how his head went into my hand. So it wasn't intentional at all. I've never been that player. I've never ever tried to seek, a face contact like that. It's just not a part of my game or a part of basketball at all. So, but I don't go into that game with any expectation besides us trying to come out victorious and get back to 500. That is the most important.
Frank was talking about the balance between your season-long goals versus the short-term. After a loss like that through 3 OTs, how do you figure that out? How was the frustration level?
But we're very frustrated. When to come home, win games. It's the first game after the long road trip. But the game we definitely could have won. We had some mistakes. Granted, they hit some tough shots. Credit to them. Down the stretch. Hand in Fox's face. He hit a couple mid-range jumpers. If one falling, Buddy hit a one-legged step back. So they hit some tough shots, but a game that we had control of in the fourth and let it get away, and then overtimes did enough, and then once again they made some tough shots, made some big plays. But I feel like we had control of the game, and this is one that we definitely wanted to get. Just coming back and playing at home. We got to be a better home team than we are right now, and it's kind of one that we want to win to kind of keep this streak going. I think we got a nice little schedule, and this is a time where we can't keep saying short season. We got to be able to win basketball games and put a string of wins together in a row.
This could be for either or both of you, but you had been 4-0 in OT heading into this one and executing pretty well. What did you feel like with the shots that you were getting? And it seemed like a lot of jump shots as opposed to getting into the paint.
We're playing to the clock a lot. I feel like we were playing against the clock. And anytime anyone caught the ball, they were playing against the clock. We didn't have a lot of time to get into some action. We were kind of going with some things that worked. Pick and rolls with me and Ross, pick and roll with me and Bron. Melo had some good looks he missed. We just missed shots towards the end. And they made shots. They made some tough shots, but we got to be able to, like I say, play with the lead in the fourth. We had control of the game. And they made some shots to tie it up. And same thing in overtime, and they were able to, pull it off.
I guess for both of you guys, what's the feeling mentally and physically to play 50 minutes and then expend all that energy and then just to know how this thing went? Like, what'll be on your mind when you drive home tonight, when you look back at the game?
Get some rest. Get ready for Sunday. That's all you can do. Game is over. Regardless of how many minutes we play, we know we got to get our mind and our bodies prepared to be able to play a Sunday. So.
I guess first for Russ, when you signed up for this or were traded here and stuff, like you were very open about like this is going to take time. There are going to be bumps early in this. We all need to understand that. A quarter of the way through this season, has it gone as expected? Have these bumps been more dramatic than maybe you thought? And is that resolve still there for everybody in the locker room?
Yeah, I don't think it's dramatic for us internally. We know, like AD said, we got a sense of urgency, but we also understand adversity, understand bumps in the road. And one thing I live by is never panic. Don't panic. Stick with each other. Never spread out at times like this, regardless of what people may think outside of our locker room, of how quickly they think we should be playing this way, that way. It's a long year. But also, like, just to reiterate what AD said, we do got to have a sense of urgency of taking care of home wins and winning games we're supposed to win.
Yeah, just in terms of the fourth quarter leads that got away, you guys had a 13-point lead tonight. You guys have played, this is the fifth overtime time game for you guys, I think. What can be improved, especially in those fourth quarters, in terms of kind of closing teams out, finding killer instinct?
Stops, shot quality,